So I want to welcome everyone back to the channel. It's been a while, been about a week since our last upload, but we're back here today to discuss, the latest transfers. I mean, it's been a very, very slow week, last couple of weeks, you could say, from Man United. But, there are still some stories out there. And, it's been a while since you've been on the channel as well.
Yeah, I've been very busy making videos on my own channel. Sook makes sense. If anybody wants to go check the app. However, like Ryan said, it's been pretty dead, to be honest, and not just 2 weeks, the whole month since that first bid that was announced. What, the 45 plus 10, and then it went a bit crazy. Obviously, with it wasn't a rejection of the second bid. Everyone went mental when Ornstein did it. Pretty much, let it uh dinner time, innit, on a Friday night. He just ruined everyone's. I guarantee he ruined every Man United supporters for a weekend. He ruined like Friday night after dinner, and he just drops on Twitter that they didn't reject it. They didn't meet the evaluation, but everyone went crazy and misread it. But yeah,
It,
so other than that, it's been pretty dead.
it's been dead. I mean, to be honest, even though we've been gone for a while, there actually hasn't been any movement. I mean,
Nothing's moved in it.
we keep getting
Nothing's.
reports that I mean, Fabrizio keeps saying, the deal's getting closer and closer. But to be
Yeah.
honest, it looks like there's nothing. I mean, in terms of outgoings, there's reports about Sancho to Juventus now heating up. But I mean, it's just been very dead, and it's been a very similar summer to when the Glazers were in charge, I feel.
Okay, my point of view on this one, yeah, because you know where I'm coming from, yeah. I try and look at all the angles. Now, a recent interview came, well, it wasn't recent. Something that in Ratcliffe said a while back is that even if they have to negotiate hard for £2 million, if they appear to be easy targets or appear to crumble under kind of the negotiation from the other side too easily, even if it's something like £2 million, they can't have that because the reputation goes down. They have to have a reputation of tough negotiators. So I do believe that they're stuck in this, towards the end of this really poor cycle that Ed Woodward has put us through, with high wages, high valuations, high amounts they give other teams. They usually, remember, for example, the 85 million for Harry Maguire. Just literally they reject. No, we only want 85 million straight. They just end up giving it. Anthony, look at the debacle of Anthony. You know what? Just, worth 25 million. They end up paying 90 odd million for him. So I think this is just a continuation, not a continuation. It's just what we're seeing is towards an end, towards what was coming out of there. And United now being a tough stance, I do believe it will get easier from here. So I think, as much as I'm frustrated as everyone else, because I'm thinking, why does it take you 4 weeks to organize a structure of a bid? If you know that they want 62.5 million, which I believe is correct, don't you think that, because Cunha stats are similar, don't you think it's correct if they want 65 million? I think it's correct. It's just how we're giving it is looks like is United are kind of playing a bit hardball against. And I think that's
I,
what's maybe what holding up the deal.
I know, but I think in our position, when when we have the season that we have, and then I think some of the mistakes we've had in the past, where we're getting these players in, past like the first or second game, when we need to get these players in before the start of preseason. It's only
Yeah, of course.
a few more weeks away until preseason officially starts again. So I think with the season we've had, I think that's why a lot of Man United fans, are we're
One of my
disappointed. We're disappointed because at the end of the day, I mean, I know obviously, with the new regime, they want to save on, the two or the odd 3 million, but can we afford to really do that with the season we've just had? And then, this is
well,
your
we
full season. This is
you know
Amram's
what,
first full season, so you want to give
again,
him
what I think
the
they're trying to do, I know what you're saying, but what I think they're trying to do is rebuild this reputation of Man United. When we come in, you're going to be sitting with proper professional tough negotiators, so you can't have it your way. So you have to have that, and I'm sure it'll probably just resonate around the Premier League and if around Europe, that yeah, when United come to the table now, it's going to be a difficult. So let's not take the piss. Now, somebody at work I was talking to put it in a different way. He said to me, why did Man United go for Embuemo first? Because you know what? Because the Cunha deal has almost kind of shot us in the foot, because that was a buyout clause. We could have went to Cunha and the Cunha camp and said, "Don't worry, we just got sort of one deal, but we'll set everything up. And as soon as we finish one deal, just keep it on the quiet and it's done. Cunha wanted Man United he was the same. He was like Man United since January. Wolves were never going to accept anything else other than the buyout clause, and they would have said, "All right, then fair enough. Cunha wants him. There's no point when Man United come and get him." If we went for Mbeumo first, this would have been, I think, more of a logical reason because then we would have maybe had a bit more of a gap to negotiate. Where now they're looking at Cunha and saying, "No, we want Cunha. We want actually a bit more than Cunha because we've got a
I
better player."
disagree with that. I disagree with that because I think the reason they went for Cunha, like you said, he has a buyout clause, and that means any other clubs can go for him.
Waited then.
Which
Think about it. Then they could have waited. Wolves would have never have accepted any other bid because they everyone could have bidded for Cunha 62.5 million because that's his buyout clause. But Cunha chose Manchester United
yeah,
since
but
January.
we couldn't afford to just wait around until let's say a Champions League club just come knocking, and they're the
It
ones
doesn't
that
matter.
buy him.
Even though it doesn't matter because Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal, and Newcastle were all in for him. That's a fact. That's a factually known. It's just he came out in January and he was tweeting, hinting, Man United, only Man United. So I'm sorry, but I think you know what. In some sense, as much as I've got some sympathy, maybe, or I can understand in your position, there is slight errors here. The second error they've been making is that if it is that the structure that is the problem, you've taken 4 weeks to do it, and you're on the brink of the preseason, which starts actually, the team comes back on Monday, on the 7th. Now, that's not going to be actual training. That's probably just getting them ready, like, when they check their health, fitness. Obviously, they've been having too many barbecues and stuff, what their body size is and all that. So it'll just be kind of a MOT check on the player for a week or so. But still, that doesn't mean that he shouldn't be part of that. So yeah, I think they've done a couple of hiccups there, but I can understand it. It's getting to me just like everyone else. I think some of the people that I watch, like United People's TV, reputable guys, they like confident that it will happen, but they're quite patient. Even Stephen Harrison, they're getting frustrated. It's like something's, it just doesn't sit well. However, this is the situation in. But I do reckon once we do get the Cunha deal, the deals after this will be relatively straightforward. Why? Because I do reckon this is the core part of the team, and it's a real unique player. Because after this, some of the players we're going for, like if it's Osterling, Gyökeres, etc., these players are all burn their bridges with their clubs, and so it's just a matter of United getting them out of there as quick as possible, and the clubs will be happy to oblige. We'll see what happens. But
But
yeah,
one reason, I think one of the main reasons Man United have, they're trying to negotiate hard as well, is because of the outgoings. So, as I
well, there
said
you
earlier,
go.
talking
There
about
you go.
how
Because we don't know who will end up staying. And by the way, very realistic possibility that Rashford still plays for Manchester United next season. I don't know whether Sancho or Anthony will, but I do reckon. I mean, Casemiro. Did you see something recently that pretty much
yeah,
Casemiro
he's got
staying?
links to Saudi. He's got links to Saudi.
He's got some links to Saudi, but I think he'll end up staying. It's gonna be a. I
I
think it's gonna be a tough window.
I think Man United, we need to realize, and as fans, we need to realize that obviously because of no European football, we're obviously got less of a budget. But the key thing is that without these outgoings, it's going to be tough. We can get the Mbeumo deal done. That's fine. But after the Mbeumo deal, it is going to be tough without any outgoings to get any players. So,
Yeah.
we need to start seeing this board, try to sell these players. And if it means that we have to sell them for 5 million less, then so be it. I mean, to get Rashford 350k wages off the books is a plus for me anyway. So I think, it's positive that we're seeing talks about Sancho. 25 million. I mean, it's decent for his price. I mean, all the clubs know that he wants to leave. You got Anthony, that's about 30 to 40 million. And we've got the 40 million price tag for Rashford. I mean, we've seen reports that Bayern Munich could potentially go in for him, but
Yeah, that's big. That's
that,
good. So that could turn his head. That could turn his head big because this Barcelona dream is a bit long-winded, I think. And the Bayern one though, because again, you're top. It's a good competition to put on your CV. There'll be a league for him, and obviously playing regular in the Champions League. I think that could turn his head. They do pay good wages. Now they've got a list, and looks like Luis Diaz is at top of it. But it's a tough one because I reckon they know the problem we're facing that everyone knows how much bad situation we're in. So we might that they'll take their time and try and get their best deal. So we might even see our sales in August. Don't
And
be
then
surprised.
we're forgetting one more player. We're forgetting Hoyland. I mean, Inter look like they're in for him as well. So we need to get rid of Hoyland. I don't want any loans for the player. He needs to be a permanent. So I'm sure
Yeah.
Inter would accept 35 to 40 million from me. That I mean, as
But,
much as
but
we
why
don't rate
haven't they?
him,
They've already signed someone. I don't understand why Inter are not coming in. Look, again, it does look like I said, they've seen United situation, and a lot of these ones, Anthony and Hoyland have already got reports of just loans, and Sancho, actually even for and Rashford, because Barcelona said it already. They all want to have loans. We don't want loans. We want money in the bank now.
and
Just
that's what
about
I'm saying.
we don't want
Do
man.
we do the club just say, you know what, cut our losses? I mean, Rashford's gonna be profit anyway because he's an academy player, so that doesn't
So is
matter.
Ganacho. So is Ganacho.
And so is Garnacho as well. So I mean, the club I think need to realize that we're not in a position where we can just keep negotiating. These outgoings are going to be dependent on the rest of our summer and the new squad
Yes.
we need.
And the longer you do that, the less time you have to buy a player.
Less time
I
and
think
then
the
less
one
money.
look, we don't need a huge squad, but the fact of the matter is there's some fundamentals we need, and them two number tens are huge because if we go into the season with just say a same squad minus say Anthony, Sancho, and Rashford, okay, but the fact that we get Mbuemo and Cunha will then at least you'll say there's a fight for top six. And when I mean top six, I mean probably 3 to 6. Yeah, there's a fight there. That's just minimum fight. Yeah, you know that because the goals they bring that's been lacking. Now, if you want to fight for, let's say, comfortably for that then you need to get obviously a striker in and maybe a midfielder. Yeah, that's for sure. But I think the minimum you need is Embuemo and Cunha because if there is that, it's going to be spread over the next 3 windows, and plus our outgoings are not going to happen anytime soon. You need a foundation, and I think these two have to be, and that's the other reason why I reckon Man United are like sticking to this Embuemo deal because they know that this guy fitted into the system so good that if we don't get our striker, if we don't get our midfielder or our goalkeeper, because our outgoings are not going to happen anytime soon, or if they have to basically say, okay, loan and it has to be an obligation to buy. No buyout clause or we'll give you 5 million. You have to sign him
You
in the
have to buy
contract.
them.
Says you have to sign him. It's just fact. Then it might have to wait another year, but you need them two players because remember Embuemo and Cunha played in similar type of systems, high intensity football, very rarely injured. But again, you've got a rotation there because you still got obviously Ahmad, you got Cunha, you got Xerxes, sorry, and you got Bruno. So you've got some kind of rotation there. But with one game a week, I can't envision them to be injured throughout the season. So you get that foundation right. We might just have to be a little bit more
Well,
patient, January and or to next season.
man, and then for me, we still, I don't know how we're gonna do it, as I said, but we still need a striker. We still need a midfielder because for me,
You notice
A Bruno and Casemiro midfield is the one of the reasons.
Ugarte. I just read just before we came on, Amarin loves Ugarte. Well, if he does
It's
Ugarte, then
suicide.
he drops in quite regularly, but then he's getting
It's
used to the
suicide.
league.
It's to go into the same another season with Ugarte, Bruno and Casemiro. For me, is suicide. I mean, Casemiro, he's had a better season, but at the end of the day, it's not. There's a reason we finished 15th. There is a
Yeah.
reason that midfield.
I think with Agate, he comes sometimes he's positionally outplayed in the wrong position. He's been asked to do too much. He's an old school destroyer, breaking up play, the what do you call the dark arts, you know what, the intelligent fouls. He's that type of player. You can't let him have the ball for a long time because he just doesn't know what to do with it. I've seen him try, and he has done it in parts, but you almost say that he's part of a squad. Now, again, one game a week, it might work out because, like I said, a destroyer is good. The problem with then is with Bruno, he has to be that intelligent player. Is he a discipline to be a number 8? The problem is, again, there's a bigger debate we might have come into the season is where does Bruno even play in the season? That's for another episode, but it's going to be difficult because is he up forward as a 10 or is he back as the number 8? It's going to be a big question we're going to have to ask of him because The reason why he's been, for me, he's been successful in the last 6 months is because he's playing in this certain counter-attacking football, which suits him. But
And
anyway,
you know,
that's
and you know
another
what?
whole
And as I
topic.
said, I mean, we made a video about it before, but for me, the Bruno deal was going to haunt us. I think it is. It's going to haunt us. I think we
Yeah, I
should
mean,
have.
I'm glad it's over and done with, and I'm glad he's staying. But at the end of the day, I gave my reasons. Remember, because of the rebuild situation, the bigger picture. Look, at the end of the day, I'm happy to have my mind changed. I'm happy he's staying. He's given enough. I do believe he's actually a legend because of the numbers he's put in. He's just in the wrong era. So he'll walk away, I think, with his head up high. Has been a light at the in a bad era, and I think we'll always look back at his career at United thinking what could have been. But he's got Amrin. He's a super fit player. I think he's a type of player that will go and play until he's 40 because he's got that in him. You see how his injury record, how fit he is. He's got really good football intelligence. He needs to be figure out that disciplined kind of role that Ryan Giggs did back in the days, where he went from a winger to a midfielder, suss it out and then stick to it, and then get through to the next part of his career. But yeah, it's a difficult one. But again, it's frustrating. But it might be like we're saying that we end up getting one or two players because our signings just won't budge. I think it will may end like I said that the have we heard anything proper reputable from tier one for Sancho? I think Ben Jacobs just came out and said on I think it was the United stand. He had an interview on there, and he said there's a meetings happening right now, and
Yeah, I think there's been like some tier two journalists, saying that it's accelerating, but
it's accelerating because he's a look. Put it like this, yeah. Why would you, as a player, you get 350 grand from your current employer with 1 year left to go? Why would you want to go to another club now? You shouldn't. It doesn't make sense because he knows if he signs for a club next year, he'll get a sign-on fee. Now to leave now, he'll have to probably go to a good club. So let's say Juventus, a long contract with a decent amount of wage to say, okay, if I drop 100K, but you've given me a 4 year contract, I'll bless that up because at the end of the day, his age, his profile, he's probably burnt most of his bridges here in the Premier League because he's done that two clubs and he's not done well at all at two of them. I mean, again, whatever you say is Chelsea's thing, he might have scored a goal here and even the Europa Conference
but
League.
nothing substantial enough.
Exactly. The only time he's been relatively successful, even though it was overplayed, was the Dortmund loan. Now, obviously, he was really good at Dortmund in the beginning when he gave a shit, but his second time at Dortmund, it got overplayed a bit. He was good for a game in that PSG game, but no one wanted to look into the context. But the other games, he was relatively ordinary.
All right, but
So I think he's burnt his bridges here. I think it's got to be a foreign move. But you know what? He's going to go down. We'll look at Sancho's career in 10, 20 years' time and say all the talent, no application, no professionalism. Um, yeah, he ruined. He took the money and he went and he just. You know what? Put it like this: when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out soon, you ain't seen for 6 months. You
all right.
watch.
Well, we come to the end of the video. I mean, again, as I said, it's been very, very slow news, but we're still gonna keep up to date with any transfer news that is gonna come out. I mean, if anything breaks, I'll try to get a video out. And yeah, I mean, again, apologies for the very, very long awaited upload as well. I mean, it's been over a week. I'll try to keep it a bit more consistent as well. And do you want to plug your channel?
Yeah, as I've always said, it makes sense. So if you want to make sense of some crazy subjects, conspiracy theories, or what's going on around the world right now, listen to it. It's got some fascinating videos. So yeah, give it a try. Also, I'll be at my first game. I won't be. I don't think I'll be making the Arsenal game. I'll be at my first United game on August the 30th for Burnley. If you see a guy in the East Stand right there in the corner, just behind Ryan's head, if you see a guy in the red turban, come say hello. I'll be promoting the channel, trying to get some subs. So yeah, that'll be the first game. Hopefully, this guy will come with me, and yeah, we'll be out and about trying to gain them subs outside the stadium.
All
Yeah.
right, but as I said, yeah, we'll definitely try to get some videos uploaded. We'll hopefully see you guys at Old Trafford as well. And yeah, guys, we'll catch you in the next one.